Ooh. Hello, Twitch and or YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome. Thanks for joining in. I'm Josh Goldberg. I'm a full-time independent open source maintainer in the TypeScript ecosystem with a very wobbly little small rig that my camera is set up on. I work full-time on projects such as typescript-eslint that lets you write better TypeScript code faster with fewer bugs and more consistent styling, all that good stuff. There we go, close enough. This is my weekly, technically twice a week, hopefully, coding stream. I'm going to go through some open source stuff today. And what I'm going to be working on is hopefully getting through a good chunk of the typescript-eslint pull request backlog. Unfortunately, my cat has been very clingy lately. This is Jerry, guy, one of three. He just stabbed my nipple. That was very uncomfortable. All right, but anyway, dude, Dodaman. Do you pronounce it Dudaman or Dodaman? I'm curious. Welcome. Thanks for hanging on, or hanging out, joining. How's it going? Jerry seems to have stabilized. Oh, good. Look at all these new pull requests. Great. I'm going to be going through the kind of standard query that I go for pull requests, which is stuff I didn't author, that's not a draft, and is not an automatic dependency. Dude, French, very nice, today. Thank you. Cool. I think last time I got through, give or take around this level. So I see there are couple ones that I got through that have new notifications, so I'm going to get through those first. This one I don't remember looking at last time, but it looks like they might have undrafted it, so that's exciting. So let's take a look. Last time I realized, you know what, I just totally spaced on tagging people, but this time I will. So this one adds 2/ queries to the playground. Very exciting. We can talk about what that is. 2/ queries. Shout out in the chat. By the way, if any of you have like things you want to talk about or questions or just, Josh, what you're saying makes no sense, can you elaborate? Please let me know. This one, let's see. Website add 2/ queries to the playground. It's got a couple thumbs up. So I'd filed this issue a while ago, but I hadn't moved it from triage. Didn't notice. Another maintainer, Brad, gave it a thumbs up. So what are 2/ queries? 2/ queries are those little / caret ? Queries that have become kind of a pseudo standard with TypeScript. They come on, playground, load. Come on, playground, do your magic. The hell, in theory they should show the did I add a semicolon? There we go. They should show the type of whatever's above them. So here it might show like number or string or number in this case. I guess I need to update or fix the link that I posted. Maybe. Did this have a semicolon? It did. Whoops. My bad. EUA at the end. Whatever encoding that means. All right, so yeah, in TypeScript, we have our own playground that does not yet support 2/ queries, only because we haven't implemented it, not because we don't think it would be useful. And looks like Operate, who's been contributing a bunch lately, along with a few other people, is adding those in, which is awesome. Yay. Thanks for that. Toby! Speaking of people who've been contributing recently, I'm good. I'm excited. I feel like I've got a good amount of stuff to do today. How are you doing? What have you been up to? Well, I certainly appreciate you stopping by. Oh boy. So, just looking at this PR in the chat, actually, to add 2/ queries to the TSE-eslint playground. So they left a couple of questions. Chillin' is good. Chillin' is good. So TypeScript 435 apparently doesn't have a register inlay hints provider. So I'm curious now. If I look at the Microsoft TypeScript repo, see if there's anything about inlay hints. Just curious if there's like a pull request that added them. I'm seeing stuff from 2023. Let's see. Aha! Support inlay hints. There we go. So this was merged in, filed in 2020, merged in 2021. Someone had a question that never got answered. Whoopsies. So this is great. Really, really great feature. And I forget what TypeScript version was at 2021. My guess is 4.4 was the first. Let's look at TypeScript 4 release notes. Nope. Announcing. Okay, yeah. TypeScript 4.4 came out in August of 2021. This was merged June of 2021. So TypeScript 4.3 doesn't support them yet. Inlay hints were added in TS 4.4. Oh, there we go. There's a direct link in the blog post. Great. So here we go. I like the handbook release notes a little more. There we go. Strategy makes sense. If TS doesn't support them, we just don't need, we just won't enable them. Could you? So actually, one thing is, oh no, what version, dude man, are you on? Are you on 5? Do you use our recommended preset configs? So one thing with this, one request though, to make this easier to find when we search, when we grep for version things to drop upon losing TS.3 support. It's added in TS 4.4 and isn't in TS 4.3. Alrighty, great. So this is, I'm just inferring from how the code works. Monaco is for reference. Let me actually get those docs up. Monaco, so inlay hints here. Oh man, you gotta get on version 6. We got some good stuff in there. But I understand, you know, it's hard to find time to update the linter constantly. Yeah, so Monaco text editor is a really, really cool, nice editor. Of course, the website doesn't detect dark mode. It's actually spun out of VS Code. Like, it's a direct byproduct released by the VS Code code base. So that's why it looks like VS Code. And a lot of like online text playgrounds, especially in the TypeScript ecosystem, use it, including typescript-eslint.org and typescript-eslint.io. So here we're saying the sandbox instance is like our playground thing. Monaco languages register inlay hints provider. So that's saying you want something that provides these little inlay hints for the current language, and then we create the inlay provider sandbox instance. So this is now over to the other file. This one. Create provide 2/inlay. All right. So the following code is adapted from the code in Microsoft/TypeScript website. So it's literally a copy and paste. Good on Avred for thinking of the licensing. makes it to use any content under the CC attribution, under the MIT license, C license code file. Okay. Yeah, so the MIT license says you can deal with it, use it, distribute, blah, 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 subject to the following conditions. The above copyright notice and this permission. So, yeah, our website is not something we, like, publish on NPM, I don't think. Yeah, we don't publish the website on NPM. It's just something in our code base. So the fact that we have the license linked here with the commit hash is good. So I think this should be sufficient. Should be sufficient. I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this as legal advice. But given that we're including a link to the original MIT license and source code, I'm happy. Yeah. I mean, this is, if anything, more of a courtesy than anything because... actually, no, it's not. If we had, like, significantly modified the code, it would be a courtesy, but this is basically a copy and paste, I'm assuming. So let's look at the code. So how does this actually work? Create /inlay provider takes in a sandbox, which is sandbox instance. That's the general wrapper for the playground, I guess. Pretty sure. So provide inlay hints is the one method or function on this provider thingy. So we get the worker process. I guess that's how Monaco works. This is a vaguely ringing a bell. If the model is disposed, then we ignore. We dispose. Nope, or for no up. Let's see here. So okay, so here we go. The way Monaco works is it stores your current editor state in what's called a model. The model has most notably a value, which is a string. So when we execute find /queries on model to get value, it means that we're taking in the code as a string and matching on the model. And the fact that this is basically copied from the TypeScript website means I feel pretty confident that this is a very reasonable way to do things. Oh, so actually it's a little different. I'm just looking here. They actually did modify a good amount, but it is the same. Wait a second. Why is the regular expression different? Let's clone this locally and see. Maybe there was like a ESLint rule that flagged the regular expression. Get checkout main, get pull ups tree main, get push GHPR. Oh boy. Looks like my main is out of date and can't be updated. Whenever I start these pull request review binges, I always update my local main, just in case. You never know. Pull yarn start. Okay. So let's open. Dang it, I forgot to minimize all my other browser windows before this stream. Whoop. All right, here we go. Now we're cooking. So I got Chrome and I got the query regex here. So let's take a look at the file, create, provide /inlay. Why did this change the regular expression? I don't know why. I'm going to get the playground up locally once the build and start finishes. Good timing. Let's move that around. I like being able to see all my windows at once. Let my value equals 3. So this is the current state of things. Oh, look at that. It works beautifully. Very nice. And then let's try the original. Refresh. The original doesn't work. All right. That must have been very annoying to find out the hard way. Props to Offred for figuring this out. All right. Anyway, it looks pretty similar. While match equals query.exec. We push the match. Comment, make a one-liner. What is the purpose of that comment? This is the original code. All right, so I'm going to put the original code on the left and the new modified code on the right. So we find the 2/ queries, which just while we have a match from execing the regex, we move it in here. What? We should move, I think, the regular expression inside the function. Factor. This might be working now, but in general, it's good to recreate regexes. You're going to each time. It's safer. Exec each time the exec are started. Yeah, so what's happening here is this is a stateful regular expression. We're looping over the code and then continuously pushing matches. So I would want to move the regex into the function so that just in case we create a fresh slate every time. Right, so the new one seems to be working. Yes, very good. All right, so now again comparing old to new. So the old code does a while loop. This code returns an array of them. This is fine. I don't really care about the difference. All right, so we query matches, have a results array, and then for result of, for each query match, resolving the inlay hint. Got it. So these are all happening asynchronously. That's a nice little, performance optimization there. Surely this won't, the changing from going in series to going parallel won't bite us down the line, I hope. But just in case, let's try it out. ABC 1, 2, 3. This doesn't give me a little hint. Okay. Let my value equals. So I'm gonna just create a whole bunch of these. Let my value 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then I'm going to actually make a block and make a whole bunch of them. Just making sure that if I like stress tested that there are a whole bunch, they all resolve nicely. And let's change all the 2s to numbers, and let's change all the 3s to, I don't know, like hello world, like some kind of object shenanigan. All right. And you know what? Let's change the second 2 4s to a B and the first 4 to an A, and see, just to really mix things up a little. And all of these look good. Nice. All right. So that's happy. That makes me more confident. All right. So the resolve inlay hint function is basically what the original site was doing. We don't need to have this comment make a one-liner. I don't know why this comment is here. Style. I don't know what this comment is trying to convey, other than that it is a one-liner. Seems useless to me. original code. All right. So anyway, text and display parts if its length is greater than 120. Isn't there a built-in in JavaScript for like string truncate with dots? Didn't they add a TC39 string truncate method or something? JavaScript string dot TC39. I guess not. Well, this is fine. Just let me see if there's a dot added anywhere else in our code base. Yeah, no. All right. So then we have an inlay, which is created and then returned immediately. Why don't we just return like this? Is there any downside to doing it that way? I don't think so. Because the function already promises what it's going to return. So I say style nits. The function already has a return type, so I don't think a separate variable declaration gives us much. Cool. This is, by the way, really interesting to me. TypeScript, like language services and inlays and stuff, are like kind of hacky to work with. There's not a lot of like really formal like lined paths to work down. Like if you want the display parts of the hints to render as string, you literally just map to the text, join it, and then replace new lines with a space. And then if it's too long, you dot it. Okay. So get quick info at position. This is the thing that like really really does like the TypeScript work. So like the worker is, where's the worker defined again? Yeah, the worker is the worker process, which is a TypeScript worker. So actually this is really key for TypeScript-y playgrounds. You don't run TypeScript on the main thread because TypeScript can be slow sometimes. Type checking is a very expensive theoretical thing. So instead you start up a worker process. This is how things like VS Code are so speedy, even if you have giant files, which means in order to communicate with that worker process, you send messages to and from. For example, you might like worker.getQuickInfo at position, which actually is going to send a message to the worker process to do the TypeScript APIs to get the quick info, like the what is this type stuff at a position, and then post it back to you. That's why it's async. Just also making sure there's no duplication. Yep, the file is only somewhere once. Yeah, so this looks great to me. I'm really pleased at how little code this is. It's very straightforward. This looks great. Thanks for such a clean PR. No blocking requests from me, just a couple of small style touch-ups. We can ignore them if you hate them. Do you think? Cool. Yeah, so all I had was just oh yeah, just a comment change for better, for a more searchable TS 4.34 reference, and a couple of small style touch-ups that we can negotiate them. Yep. One approval. Yay. So that's done. Nice little 20-minute PR review. And let's move on to the rest of the queue. 1 down, 22 to go. Except really more like 19 or so because there are already a few that have been approved. All right. This one, no unnecessary type parameters, is awaiting response, and I haven't seen a notification come up for it, so I'll just oh, Dan responded. Okay. Oh, so Dan did actually respond, so I should get to Dan's comments. Whoops. All right, let's move to this one. I think I missed this one in the last stream. Cool. So no unnecessary type parameters. Now coming another type system-y PR for a new no unnecessary type parameters rule. This one's from Dan Vanderkam, who actually wrote the really good Effective TypeScript book. I actually referenced that one in my Learning TypeScript book. It's Dan on Mastodon. He is not. But let's get into this. What is this no unnecessary type parameters rule? What is happening? Just curious if anyone here has heard of the golden rule of generics in TypeScript, or the golden rule of type parameters. So, no unnecessary type parameters, initial implementation. What's going on here? In TypeScript, sometimes people write generic parameters that don't actually do anything, that don't really help. For example, you might write like a function identity or function log text with a t and then text t, or like, honestly, this could just be just called log value t console.log value. There's no need for this t. This t doesn't give you anything. Log ABC, log def. You might as well had the function just called value unknown, because that t is only used once after it's declared. It's only used in that parameter. So this is the golden rule of generics. They should ideally be used at least twice after declaration. Like if you were to, let's say, return the value, then this function would have an implicit return type of whatever the t is, which would mean that there actually is a purpose for the t. It's used twice, once in the type of value and once in the return type. We don't have a lint rule for that yet. So Dan Vanderkam's making one, and I'm hopeful this will get referenced in Effective TypeScript, because Effective TypeScript is the book that actually references this rule, and I'm hopeful at least that the link to the rule can be put in the new edition of the book that'll come out. Okay, so we got I left some questions 3 weeks ago. Dan hasn't gotten to them all, but I did only now see that he answered a couple others. So let's go through them. Let's see what's going on. So no unnecessary type test yes. I commented, I think, let me go to the files view. See this comment? Okay, I commented just on the top of the file. From a particular comment, Dan said I was able to run this on existing code. A lot of interesting results. Many of them look like this. You have an interface that declares a t, and then items t and onSelect t, which means that this is flagged an error since t only appears once, which is a false positive. And that makes sense. Like, although the t is only used once for here, the t is then forwarded along to that childish or that used reference interface item props. So yeah, this would be a place that the rule should not report. Which means that in our logic that counts how many times a type parameter is referenced, we need to factor in like interfaces and types. What I'm wondering now also is, like, should we reference this with maps, arrays, and so on? Yeah, so I think actually my example that I gave with like get apple, return in container that get apple, that's actually a true negative because the return type is inferred. Yeah, so Dan's talking about how... Okay, I think I was just wrong here. So, you know what? I think for a first version of the rule, we can just allow array and map. It feels odd to me. Second, think through. We shouldn't special case anything. The list of built-ins that one might want to special case is actually pretty big. Set, array, like, etc. But and then there's the idea of folks wanting to add in their own equivalents, my fancy map, etc. But they all present the same array, like the as you note, they all present the same behaviors of potentially reusing the type parameters. So never mind. If folks want to add and allow list later, I think that'd be a reasonable feature request. Or I think that'd be a feature request we can discuss as a follow-up. Cool, yeah, so I don't think we should add exemptions. I was wrong in my first comments. My exploratory, maybe. Cool. Let's continue. So a few other violations Dan found were variations on this. Async function fetches JSON, T returns promise of T, and then he returned r.json, which is any, which is a sneaky type assertion. The one thing fixing this would push users to make this change. I guess that's a type assertion, kind of. Huh. Yeah. I think this would actually be caught by our no unsafe return lint rule, which says don't return something that's any in a function that is typed as having a not any. And don't implicitly allow function return types to be any. So let's say the lint rule pushes the user to make this change, switch from promise T to unknown, and the user makes the change. It's a type check, but it's a mistake. They should have instead made it as promise T. Got it. So +1 it is, but I don't think its problematicness is the responsibility of this rule. The root problem is an implicit coercion, is using any typed value in a return location that with a non-any type, which is what do we call that rule? Types of using my rules. Pretty sure it's no unsafe return, which is that rule's responsibility. So I don't think that violates the, let's see, does it violate? So I don't think that violates the golden rule of generics. But I don't think that snippet should violate this rule because it returns a promise T. Yeah. It returns a promise T that... Oh, right, because... Right. There's nothing that yeah, there's nothing that really links the T. So it is actually a sneaky type assertion. I think the promise issue. So yeah, I don't think we need to special. So I don't think we need to special case this. If users mess up their type assertions, then that's not the fault or responsibility of this rule. Got it. All right. Yeah, so Dan makes good points. Really, it's that this is actually one of the nice things about working on linters. Each rule is very single responsibility, single purpose. So if you see weird oddities come up as a side effect of trying to adhere to a rule, if those oddities are something that the rule doesn't care about, you can kind of ignore them a lot of the time. Like here, Dan makes good points that, users fixing this issue from the perspective of, are you reasonably doing a type parameter? Well, they might get into bad cases with type assertions or like implicit any returns. Not my problem, not this rule's problem. Okay, and I think that's all the comments I remember Dan posting that needed responding to. And yep, we're good. Cool. I'm actually really excited about this rule. I'm pretty sure, if I hadn't yet, I should now put the issue that it's backing into our V7 milestone. Adding this to our V7 milestone just to make sure it gets in. It gets merged by then. It can definitely be merged into main before. Yay. Yeah, really excited about this rule. We got a lot of good stuff coming. This is one of them. All right. Oh, Alfred already responded on the 2/queries thing. Very nice. Hi, Alfred, if you're here. Oh, nice. About a year ago, I spent 2 days catching a bug in Vue core. It turned out to be caused by one small stateful regex with the global flag. My God, that's horrifying. Cool. All right. Oops. Let's continue. No unnecessary condition. Handle left-hand optional with exact optional property types. Love it. All right. I reviewed, this rings a bell, 2 days ago. And then Yan Wan, we request review. Let's post on media and then take a look. Fun nuances there. Now onto another rule. PR, a fix for no unnecessary, what is it? Condition. This one's also nuanced, I think, so this will be fun. Come on, Blue Sky, load your crap. Come on. Irksome. Is Yan Wan on the things? Nope. Left-hand optional with exact optional property types, right? I remember this from previously, from 2 days ago. Notice that object.prop is question marky. It's optional, so it might not exist, but we don't handle this well when the TypeScript compiler option, exact optional property types, is enabled. Let me know if you're not familiar. I can dive into that. But for a quick little briefing, TypeScript has docs. All right. So last time I suggested cleaning up. We have utility for a thing, and get static value. Oh, found another issue. And they're asking if we can come back to it later. That makes sense to me. Nice find. Yeah, what's the issue that let's see. Foo up key, where key is key is one of the enums. Yeah. Index signature, it might be. Okay, great. Cool. So let's look at the files. So on the left, I have my previous comments. Object type equals, yep, I suggested using our fancy schmancy new get type at location wrapper, which they did, resolved. This one, do something later, and that's it. Computed values. Where did I mention that? Where did that comment go? Surely I commented. What? I swear I commented about computed values. It was this thread. Okay. So, computed. That's right. So previously there was a big comment inside if no.computed. If no.computed. All right. So let's look at the code now. GPR checkout 8249. Get pull. Because they force push, I have to reset hard. Annoying. Get checkout fix 6635. I wonder actually if there's a -- force I can add to get HPR checkout. I keep forgetting whether I've done that before. Anyway, if no.computed. Oh, who's complaining about this? ESLint complaining because I started a build and cleared all my stuff. Lovely. If no.computed. So it looks like they added some handling for array index expressions. Lovely. So wait a second. All right. Is nullables? Is that a plural? All right. So if we are a nullable expression, that's not possibly nullish. So if we're not possibly nullish, and we're not a nullable member expression. Okay. So then we get type of location. If it's computed type, we check the node property. Otherwise, we directly look at the symbol flag. God, this world is getting so much more complex every time we look at it. Then we look. So if it's computed, then we look at the types that are computed and check if it's number, if it's literal, if it's string, and so on. All right, this strikes me as reasonable. I remember looking through this previously, and it's really just adding a new case to this else if. That was previously just looking at if it's possibly nullish. And a lot of nice new tests. There we go, a lot of valid ones. Oh, it looks like they added this anyway. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so the only gripe I have is just the typo. So proofreading typo, no need for the S, I think. Yeah, because it's is a member expression. Is member expression nullable, or is nullable member expression? Okay. So this looks great. tricky logic. Some tricky logic to handle. A nice job getting it working. If you have more follow-ups, just one typo in a function name that I'll go ahead and apply it myself, because it's just a quick rename to get this merged and unblock follow-ups. Yay! Yeah, this looks great. I'm pleased. Is nullable member expression. Oh, remove the S. Pushing to their branch. And so I'm going to just put this to this side so that I can merge it once the builds finish. Cool. Moving on. By the way, since it's been 45 minutes of streaming, and I try to remember to mention this every half hour, oops. If any of y'all have things you want to talk about, let me know. Always happy to chat. Questions on dev, open source, TypeScript, life, whatnot. And feel free to ask questions. Let me know if anything's unclear. Probably not going to stream for too long today. Got a sore back, I'm tired, I'm hungry. So I'm going to probably call it quits by noon my time. So within the next 40 minutes. So actually, I guess that's a pretty normal stream length, not too short. Anyway, moving on. Fix rule tester. Fix a phantom dependency on the semver package. On an issue that was not yet marked as approved. So we need to take a look. So I'm actually going to triage this issue first. Of course, the stream manager crashed. And pinned. Is Octagons on the socials. Octagons on Twitter. Octagons works on TS Doc. That's cool. Now triaging an issue to unblock a PR already sent for it. So oftentimes we tell people, hey, please don't send issues, or please don't send PRs unless the issue is accepted. But it can be useful sometimes to see a reference PR. Both from Octagons _ was? Yeah. All right. Bug, dependency constraint DTS fails to compile due to phantom dependency on semver. All right, so if you don't have skip libcheck enabled in your TS config, then there's a phantom dependency on the semver package. Okay. So if we look in source code, pull up dream main, get push yarn. If we do a search on this shebang, we get dependency constraint, which is range options, which is used in this little options friend, which is in a which is used just to pass over to semver.satisfies. Okay, so the problem is we have this rule tester package, which is like a nice little test utility based on the ESLint rule tester that you can use to test your ESLint rules. It does not declare a... Wait a second. It has a dependency on semver, but doesn't mention anything about types/semver. So guessing the semver package itself doesn't provide its own types, so you need @types/semver. Yep, semver does not bundle its own types. So in their PR, they just inline to avoid a pure dependency on that package. Yeah, Yeah, that makes sense to me. Um, so this is definitely a bug. I agree. So let's mark it as accepting PRs. Oh, interesting. They mentioned it in the Rush stack. I found an issue on them. Cool. All right. Something to dig into later 5 time. The only gripe I have with this PR, my headphones are low on battery, is that I don't really like exporting general interface names like options. So I'd say let's just merge them into one. Style. Not a huge fan of general purpose names like options, especially when they don't pertain to the main export of a package. Since it's just two properties, I think it's reasonable to just merge to have a single interface exported. Is there a strong reason to keep options standalone? Yeah. Thanks for the issue and fix. I agree that taking that two properties is a reasonably small copy, enough size to just inline an interface like this. Just the one style suggestion, then I think we're good to merge. What do you think? Yay! Nice and easy. So I'm gonna also mark the PR and associated PR looker to me. That was fun. I like a nice quick one like that. Moving on. Fix fantasy. Okay, now we're on, oh god, member ordering. I hate this stupid rule. I really don't like working on member ordering. Report alphabetical sorting for all groups instead of just the first failing group. Ugh. Alright. So, okay, so the issue is if you have a bunch of groups that are failing, it only reports complaints for the first group. Alright, so if we have like C or like D and B. Wait a second. This is the one group, and then if we comment it out. So it's only the last group gets complained about? What's going on here? Yeah, so it only reports one complaint at a time. That's actually kind of funny, I think. All right. So yeah, this is a reasonable PR to look at. Posting around. And is Arca on the internet elsewhere? No link. That for member ordering to help it report multiple bug issues at once. Oops, forgot to click the button to add a link card. Okie dokie. Get pull, yarn, start. Let's take a look at the changes. Oh man, the issue referenced, oh, this should be a quick fix. And then, of course, It's not. I hate this rule. This is such an annoying rule to have to work on. Props to Arca for getting through it. All right, so what's happening here? Previously, there was an if alpha sort. If has alpha sort. We return not grouped.sum. Now we say consort results bool in an empty array for each thing in grouped. We push check alpha sort. Why don't we say consort results equals grouped dot map, taking the group member, check alpha sort. There you go. What's this complaining about? Grouped, not groups. And then, so this is interesting. We actually do need to do all of them and then return a dot sum, because check alpha sort, I think, yeah, I think alpha, actually, let me verify that. If I run the tests, just eslint, do we have to explicitly call check alpha sort on all of them, or let me just inline this. Can we bail out at the first one? Can we do like grouped.sum, not check alpha sort group member? Does that work? So it'd be like dot sum group member, not check alpha sort. Could we do that instead? So first, let me, oh my God, this is going to take forever. 30 seconds of rule testing already. This is what we get for auto-generating tests. Wait, hang on, why is it testing all of them? Oh my God, I said ESLint plug instead of member ordering. Whoops. All right. So let's see if this change works. Yeah, no, we need to check them all, but we can still clean this up a little bit to be fewer lines of code, a little more functional. So just nitpicking on this style. No need to create a separate array and then for each map works the same. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're checking alpha sorts, which is an existing method or function. But when we do run sort, oh my God, I hate this stupid rule so much. Why is this so convoluted? What is run sort? What is happening? I hate this stupid rule. Line 970. All right. Why are we changing to groups? What is this? What is happening? I don't fucking understand this. All right, so change to groups takes in a member set, a member type, and whether it supports modifiers. It creates an array of grouped members. What the shit is happening? There's a constant get previous rank, member set for each. If the rank is... What is happening? What is member? So member is the node that already exists. Last touched 4 years ago. So we have a bunch of nodes and a bunch of member types, which is whether they're like a read-only signature or whatever. Okay. So for each of the nodes and their types, we got whether they support modifiers. So that's like a rule option, I guess. So we look at the grouped members. So this changes the members to groups. So this takes in members and their types and then gets an array of groups for them. And then we're returning grouped members. So ignoring get previous rank for a moment. We're saying, okay, so for each member set, why is it called member set? Is that what we called it before? No, that's a new. No, that's existing. For each, so we changed to groups. All right, so this style, I had a really hard time reading through this function and how it's used, which is not really this PR's fault. It's member ordering is an annoyingly complex rule by definition. But to make it easier for future us, how this function's name isn't really what doesn't match what I want to say. I think this function would be more understandable with a name like group members by, let's see, rank or group members by type or something like that. A JS doc comment explaining what it does. What do you think? So we're saying for each member set, which does care about the index, all right, now I think I understand it. So I'm just going to rename it here, group members by type. So it's not really by rank. Something where that something is what they're actually being grouped on. Maybe members, group members. Yeah, so I'm going to call this to group members by type. So like maybe grouped on type. Ooh, I messed up my backticks. There. What an annoying rule. Get group members by type. Okay. So if the rank is get previous rank, all right. So this is constantly getting the rank of the most recent group of members. If there is nothing there, there's no previous rank. Otherwise, we get rank of. Why don't we memorize or cache this? The previous rank, number, or undefined. Let's get the rank cached. So rank. So if you have the same rank as the previous rank, so it looks like this function is constantly recomputing ranks, so that's not good. If you have the same rank is the previous rank, then you push it to the last group. So let's say rank and group. So what I would do here is let's call it previous group and rank. So if there is a group member, rank is a number. Okay. So if there's a previous, so if you do have a previous group and rank, then you, this needs to be or undefined. Let's call that, yeah, it's fine. All right, so if you have the same rank as the previous one, then good. Otherwise, if the index is the member set dot -1, then you bail out early. So that's why it's a for each. Okay. I'm curious. Can we? I'm gonna have to finish rewriting this. So. Oh, now I'm a little lost. So I never actually set the previous rank. So previous group and rank equals. You know, I'm just going to say, let's do this for like a, I'm going to suggest this refactor because this function, refactor. This function is constantly calling get rank and .at to recompute things, but I think they can be cached in variables instead of get rank. Remember, member type supports modifiers twice. I think it should be doable. Store it in a variable instead of a dynamic get previous rank. Have a nullable state variable like. Does that make sense? Cool. So yeah, I'm just suggesting don't recompute things constantly. Instead, I think it'd be more clear and probably more performant. Not that it probably matters at this scale to cache that stuff. Okay, so I'm actually curious here. What happens if I extract out this if index is member set out length -1? Will it break any tests? Nice. So we can actually rewrite this a little bit. Bailing out early is always nice to save time and make exit cases more clear. No unit tests fail when I try this. All right, so we're getting progress here. Let's move this into a constant. Let's call that rank. There's no need for this member set dot at index +1. That's a stylistic shenanigan. No need. So this is more of a style. No need to .at. The types for it are always nullable. But since we know it's defined, we can just index +1. Cool beans. So yeah, this is part of why open source takes so long. If you want to do a really good job of reviewing things, sometimes you just end up rewriting it yourself. That's how you determine whether what you're suggesting makes sense, and also just how you figure out what the heck is happening. So we're checking if the rank of the... So if we're at the previous rank, we add to the previous grouped members. Otherwise, if it's the same... Got it. So if it's the same rank as the next one, then we make a new group. Okay. So this is basically a glorified, much fancier, or slightly fancier, group by. Cool. I understand this function now. Hooray! So for each of the group members by type, we then check alpha sort, which is an existing function. All right. So I think I get it. Run sort style. Similarly, this name kind of confused me. Also, why is it run sort as a standalone function? It's only ever called once. Okay. Everything here can arguably referred to as running a sort. So what is it actually trying to do? Maybe run alphabetical, one check grouped alpha sort, run sort for alpha groups. What would you say this function is really trying to do? Cool beans. So run sort, what it's actually doing is if we don't have grouped, what is grouped though? So it's really maybe like one check alpha sort for all members, one sort for all alpha group, something. Cool. So the logic seems reasonable to me, just confusing as all heck because of this rule being a confusing rule to have to implement. So look at seems reasonable on a read through, but I'm having a hard time understanding the added code, which means future folks with less context would probably have a harder time. What do you think about the clarification cleanup comments? Emphasizing from a comment, this rule is inherently pretty tricky and complex. Nice job getting it to work. I think any changes will be that way too. Yay! Yeah, so I think it's important to always be positive and uplifting. It's not nice to like send a PR, especially in a tricky area of code, and then have someone yell at you, "Oh, this sucks! It's confusing. I don't like it." Even if it's confusing, it's true. So trying to phrase it as like, "Look, you're doing a good job. It's just we need to be extra clear for this type of thing." By the way, you don't need to, I'm going to quote reply this. You don't need to put the fixes on top. You need to put the fixes top of the PR description. It's in the checklist Guessing that was added automatically. Yeah. Cool. Finished that one. I've got 15 minutes left in my time box, so let's go back to this fella. Look, the one that I wanted to make the typo move as myself, and we can merge. Hell yeah! All right, let's move on. Class literal property style. Allow getter when same key setter exists. What is happening here? Another one. Oh, same. Yan Zhuan. One. XPR for class literal property style. So what's happening? All right, so I remember this. I also looked at this recent stream. The rule class literal property style says, hey, if you have a getter that returns a static constant literal or something like that, then just fix it to be a read-only. But if you have a setter with the same name, then that's different. You then have like a complaint from TypeScript that, hey, you can't have a setter and a read-only value. You have to have set and get. So what happened here? Previously, I remember now, I had said, well, the code, let's see, the code was using getText to check if there's an existing element key with the same name. But like if you have something like this, like a set or get one of them with a static name and the other with a computed name of a literal, rule doesn't work in that case. So looks like they added, okay. Said, could you please not force push PRs when I GHPR check out them? Actually, we have docs for this. I don't need to restate. Contributing, local development pull requests, force. It's a small thing, no worries, but fun. Cool. So yeah, now they added in computed key support, and the way they did it is get method name, which returns a string value that's static, or the actual source code text. Cool. So if there's nobody where the name is the same as the two, then we're good. Cool. Yeah, this looks good to me. And we have added test cases. I'm happy. And then actually I remember now, last stream we also talked about having an issue filed to have a utility of this. Great, thanks. Drax adding a shared utility around. Oh wait, comments. Gotta have comments. Just remembered. Let's. Can I force? Yeah, you can force. So, class, literal, property, style. What happens? Also, wait a second. This test case is kind of big. What happens if I add comments to, here we go. Before the thing and after the thing. Will this still detect them as the same? Yarn, jest, class, literal, property, style, watch. Propert style. Nice. So it does actually get them. So it's not a bug, just a missing test case. So let's suggest adding that in. Testing comments tend to, and we do have support, or do we have existing? We don't have any. To trip up string checking. So it'd be good to have this already working. Yay, test case. All right, so what's going on here with this get set, get bar? What are these doing? I guess this is fine as a test case. It's checking that like computed values don't intersect with each other in mixed scenarios. The static names. Linking in this comment for tracking. Just one suggested added test. I can merge this in two to get it in quickly. Awesome. Commit suggestion. We learned that HPR checkout. Does it have a force? Has a force. Yep, so moving that to the side, so I'll get back to it once the builds pass. Yay. Moving on. 7 minutes left, and I'm a third, 2/5 of the way through the open PRs. No redundant type constituents, incorrectly marks and string as redundant. Oh, archive again. Hello. No redundant type constituents, incorrectly marked string as redundant. What's going on here? Oh, dear heavens. Is there a better, like a more succinct reproduction in the chat or the comments? There we go. So T equals AR1, U equals T and string. So T is AR1, U is just A. Got it. So the AND string is not overridden. So the rule, no redundant type constituents. Fun fact, constituent is the term that many, us included, use to refer to the types in a union or intersection type. And the rule, no redundant type constituents, is made to say, hey, if you have two things that are there, like or one or something, or I don't think we use assignability, so there we go, or any, well, any overrides anything, and or unknown is overridden by the others. So it looks like it's complaining about and string, but the string actually does something. It filters out anything that's not a string from the existing type. So that's definitely a bug. So going back to here, PR check out this thing. Pull, yarn start, in case I need it. And no redundant type constituents. Let's take a look at the code. Did I post? I did not post. A feat now for no redundant type constituents. Maybe bug fix and overrides. What is this? And around better redundant type checking. Hi, hello. You know what? How do you say name? Amustake? A mustache? Welcome. I'm good. I'm good. It's been a little while. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. It's been a calm day. I'm just getting through pull requests. Postgame online, trying to clean up our backlog a little bit. It's always stuff to review. So this one, no redundant type constituents, we see that here t_n string, the n string is used to filter out anything that's not a string from this type. So the original type is a or 1, but u is just a because of the n string. But the rule's complaining about it, which it shouldn't. So, whoo boy. What is different? So this is a lot of added code, a lot more than I would have thought for this particular change. This rule's already kind of big though. So on line 275, in addition to previously tracking literal types and primitive types, we now also track the scene union types. So this is being used oh, I hate this style. I don't like it when people do this. This like use a ternary style, using a ternary instead as an if is confusing. There's a reason why we have ifs. Just say this. Same number of lines, actually. 3 lines of code. Boop. Should really add a lint rule for that. 5 energy, I'll file an issue. All right, so in this existing handling for each of the types on the node that we're looking at for the intersection type, for each of those types, if it has multiple type part flags, then we add it to the scene union types. Not sure yet why. Then we check if unions are assignable. Oh my god, this is another rule where I'm like, why did we do this? Why did we take on the responsibility? Check if unions are assignable. What is happening? So for each of the scene union types, type flags of union.push, union.type flags. Same PR author as the previous one, and I do not understand this code at first. For const iterator, why are we calling this iterator? Type type flag of union. Let's use a more informative name. Style. This code is already kind of complex. Let's stick with informative names. So if you've already seen this type, so if you've already seen the primitive type, then we primitive union. So we're adding in a new report way, a new way to report. This feels really complex to me, like overly so. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset all changes and try to fix this rule myself to understand why it's done this way. You know what? I'm actually gonna run out of time, so I'm not gonna do that now. Never mind. Well, anyway, this was a fun stream. Really chill chat. So I guess it was nice just getting work done, even though I didn't get as much as I really would have wanted. Such is life. Anyway, let's go raid. Oh, less soy milk. Ramon. So y'all have fun with this. I'll see you around. But anyway, I'm Josh. I work in TypeScript open source ecosystem projects such as typescript-eslint. And if you have any questions, things you want to chat about, always happy to be reached out to. Bye, y'all.